What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin, and I'm late on this video, but I wanted to go ahead and do a breakdown of the Carolina Panthers Jacksonville Jaguars game. I usually start with the team that's not Carolina. Start with quarterback, receivers. Running backs, receiver, defense. Usually in that order. Blake Bortles, 22 of 40, 183 yards, one touchdown, two picks. He missed some throws down the field. Best drive was probably the 2 minute warning. He got it. He ended up getting a touchdown in that, so I thought he looked good then. But he missed some guys down the field, and I'll give him a pass. This is week one. You just saw a lot of sloppy play from different teams throughout the entire week. So I'll give him a pass, but I think they threw the ball too much. Rushing attack. T.J. Yeldon, 12 carries, 51 yards. Should have ran the ball more. Blake Bortles, 4 carries, 26. Denard Robinson, 5 carries, 19. Like I said, Yeldon should have ran the ball more. I think 20 to 25 carries would have been much better than you play from that because they don't have the best receiving weapons. So if your running game is working, I think you need to play off that first instead of throwing the ball 40 times. Hearns, 5 receptions, 60 yards. Green, 7 receptions, 28, and 1 touchdown. Denard Robinson, 2 receptions, 26. Walters, 2 receptions, 17. And T.J. Yeldon, 3 receptions, 16. Not the greatest receiving weapons. Should have ran the ball more. I know I've already said that, but just looking at the game, I think they should have. It was actually effective on some plays. It just didn't do it enough. Especially when your quarterback is struggling in terms of with his accuracy. Defensively, Paul plus Lusney. I think I said his name right. Yeah, I got it right. He was a standout defensive player. 8 tackles, 2 pass defenses, and 1 interception. He was all over the field. If he wasn't making the tackle, he was disrupting the play. So teammates can make tackles. Let's go back to Telvin Smith, 9 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. He made some plays. Dan Scooter, ex 49er, he had 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and I believe he had a sack too as well. Let me check with someone else. Chris Clemons had 2 tackles, 1 sack. Sergio Brown, 4 tackles. Chris Smith, 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass defense. Also, Chris Clemons had a pass defense as well. Devon House, 2 tackles, 1 pass defense. Not going to go through every guy, but these are the guys that really stood out, especially after rewatching the game. And I thought that defense played well. They did a good job against the run. Like I said, Carolina had some drops, but I thought their coverage was really tight, and it forced Cam Newton to make some really accurate throws. Some he didn't, some he did, which some of them didn't get caught. So the offense for Carolina really struggled. But I thought that front seven for Jacksonville played pretty good. They were able to get pressure at times, and they did a good job against the run. The Carolina side of things, Cam Newton, 18 for 31, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. There were some drops. Ted Ginn had a touchdown, and there was a Greg Olson a touchdown that got taken back. It doesn't factor into it, but it would have been a touchdown on a play that he really didn't have to push off. They gave him offensive pass interference. He really didn't have to push off. Jonathan, from rushing standpoint, Jonathan Stewart, 18 carries, 56 yards. He had a long of 22, so you take away the 22-yard. He had 17 carries for 34 yards. Not good. And some 2 yards per carry. Cam Newton, 14 carries, 35. Thought he made some plays down the stretch. Really draining out that clock at the end of the game. Carolina had the ball for about 8 minutes. Really helped them seal the win. Mike Tolbert, 1 carry for 12 yards. Fozzie Whitaker 2 carries 2 yards. That's just not gonna cut it. Total 35 carries for 105 yards. Yeah, to me that's not gonna carry. That's not gonna cut it. Especially that's gonna have to be their strength. The offensive line didn't do a good job of opening holes in the run game, and a lot of that rushing comes from just Cam Newton being that guy that can run, and teams are afraid of that. They run the read option, which when we run that with running quarterbacks, it's very tough to defend. Doesn't help when your offensive line is not blocking as well as it should be. Let's see, receiving, Ted Ginn, 2 receptions, 54 yards. He was targeted 7 times. 1 big drop, definitely. That was a for sure touchdown. Jericho Cotchery, 4 receptions, 45, and a touchdown. He was targeted 6 times. I thought he played well. He was the best in terms of options, receiving options for Cam Newton in this game. Jonathan Stewart, 4 receptions, 25. Corey Brown, 2 receptions, 13. Greg Olson, 1 reception for 11. Thing about with Greg Olson, you watch some of these plays, he's doing a lot of blocking, and I'm not talking about in the run game. I'm talking about passing, pass blocking. I understand the offensive line was horrible last year, and they want to protect Cam Newton a little bit more. You got to give one of his best receiving options out running routes, and you got to get him the ball down the field. Got to get him some targets. I believe he was only targeted 3 times. That's not gonna cut it. Ed Dixon, 1 reception, 9 yards. Devin Funchess, 1 reception, 9 yards. Of course, that's the second round draft pick that we got. Defensively, Thomas Davis really started to make some plays in that second half. He had 7 tackles, 2 of them for loss, 1 pass defense, and a sack. So I thought he really started to step his game up, especially in that second half. Luke Kuechly got hurt at the end of the second quarter. In the 2-minute warning, he got hurt. He had a concussion, so he didn't play the rest of the game. Anyways, he still put up some solid numbers. He had 7 tackles, 1 sack, and let me see. I thought that was that's what. And think about it, that was just in the first half. He would have definitely made a big impact in that second. AJ Klein, 6 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. He was a guy that replaced Luke Kuechly. Thought he did an adequate job. Benabin Wickery, 6 tackles, 2 pass defenses. He played good. He was in, of course they got him in the slot corner. Charles Tillman and Josh Norman are the other 2 corners. They got Ben Wickery as the slot corner. I don't think he's that bad as a slot corner. I think he's really solid in that position. We'll have to see as the season go along. Josh Norman, 5 tackles, 4 solo, 2 pass defenses, and he had the interception for a touchdown. Big play, especially in the game where points, you had 2 offensive touchdowns between both teams. So, yeah, you didn't get much out of that. Charles Tillman, guy we got from Chicago, turnover machine. Of course, didn't get any turnovers in this game. He had 4 tackles. Most of them were in the run game. Him defending the run. And this is before I get to that guy, Charles Johnson, 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss and a sack. This guy, Mario Addison, is a guy who should get more playing time. They usually use him in passing downs. He's keep him fresh. He's a speedy guy. He does a good job of very athletic. Does a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback when he is out there. It's just he's not out there much, and he ended up in his limited time. He got 2 sacks to lead the defense. So I just think he should play more often. I think especially seeing as the guy they're changing out guys at the opposite of Charles Johnson. It's just not working. But he's the one guy who's been able to get pressure. I think he should play a little bit more often. Going to the team stats. Then this will really tell you why Carolina won this game. Total yards was essentially the same, 2-yard difference. Carolina had 260. Carolina 263. Jacksonville had 265. 2-yard difference. And that wasn't a huge deal. Third down efficiency was Carolina was 8 of 17, and Jacksonville was 3 of 12. You know what I mean? So, Carolina, of course, was getting like field goals and stuff like that. And then you also have to add in, they Jacksonville turned the ball over 3 times. Carolina only won. In a close game like this, you just can't turn the ball over. Also, Jacksonville gave up 5 sacks. Hold on. Let me make sure that's right. Okay, yeah. Jacksonville gave up 5 sacks. Carolina only 2. Let me see. Both teams in the red zone 1 of 3. Penalties were about the same. Carolina 3 penalties, 22 yards, and Jacksonville 3 penalties, 25. Not a huge deal. I already mentioned the turnovers. Carolina did have the one defensive touchdown, which, like I said, huge deal. And time of possession was another reason. I mentioned earlier at the beginning, at the end of the game, Carolina had the ball, I believe, like 7 to 8 minutes. They were really able to chew up the clock. I think it was 17-9 because Jacksonville missed a extra point, which ridiculous. But I hate that whole rule. What they moved it back. They moved the extra point back. That's stupid to me. But Jacksonville did miss that, which pretty much made it 17-9. It would have made it 10-9. Of course, Carolina scored a touchdown, 17-9. Carolina was able to eat up. And then, in the fourth quarter, they were able to eat up the clock and get 3 points out of it, pretty much making it a 2-score game. And at that point, it was pretty much over. Left them with about 2 minutes left. Jacksonville got the ball back. Blake Bortles turned the ball over. The ball got tipped. And it was actually a blown call. Charles Johnson, hands to the face. I think that was the penalty that got blown that didn't get called. But, that's pretty much how it ended. Carolina had time possession, 34 minutes, 6 seconds. 34 minutes, 6 seconds to 25 minutes, 54 seconds. So, Carolina won less turnovers, time possession, and better third down efficiency. That is why they won this game. Tight game, turnovers, third down efficiency, getting some kind of points. And Carolina they were able to get 2 field goals. Getting some kind of points definitely helped out. But I'm sorry I'm doing this video so late, Panther fans. Been really busy. Probably I'm not gonna do any of the other videos. It is just way too much to cover. Of course, I watch all the games, and if any topic comes up about particular player, team, something big happens, I will definitely talk about it. But I don't know about just covering every single game. Of course, when the playoff come, I will definitely cover those games. It's less games, and I think people will be more focused on those games, than everybody else playing. It's just trying to keep your focus on all those games. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Of course, hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.